And we are live. I'm Adam. This is Open Late. Back-to-back nights because I thought these might show up yesterday. So I scheduled a video yesterday, but these showed up today. So here we are. Let's very quickly jump into the chat because already there's a bunch of people in the chat. Sam Rock is here. Ken Poe, who already unboxed his today. Couldn't wait. Ken Poe unboxed his Valkyries today. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to spoil the surprise, the fun of unboxing this for myself. Silver K is here 2 nights in a row. The things I do for you people, the things I do for you guys. Don't say I didn't ever do anything for you. Silver K said, can't stay but have fun. Oh, I will. I intend to. I'm really excited about this this pack. Smiler 67, let's do this. I'm playing Flight of the Valkyries on my stereo. I think I probably would I'd get a copyright strike if I did that. And I'm close enough to 500 that I don't really want to get a copyright strike at the moment. So Brick, something can't stay but bring on the badass women of Cobra. Absolutely. And that's part of the reason that I'm excited for this. More female figures. I know that G.I. Joe doesn't have a ton of female figures, but the more that they can get into the line, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Brick is watching One Piece with his family, which I'm not a huge One Piece anime fan, but I am curious to see how they do it in real life, as my kids would say. Cutthroat Comics says very cool. Cobra Valkyries 2-pack figures. Yes, indeed. Luke Poulin says supposed to get mine tomorrow, and congratulations, Luke. We figured out how to get your name to show up as you comment. I did after the fact figure out why your name didn't show up yesterday, but I will save that for another day because it's not interesting at all. It just has to do with the way that StreamYard works. Anyways, since yesterday, I've caught a cold from my 1-year-old son. So forgive me, every couple minutes I'm going to have to take a break, take a sip of water, and a little sniffle. And by water, I don't mean water. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into the reason that you're here. It's not for me to talk about myself. It's so that we can take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Valkyries 2-pack. Here is the box. We get the 2 figures in digital render. We also get like a dog or something. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. But we may see this sort of, play itself out when we get Mutton Junkyard. I think that's Junkyard with the glowing eyes from the episode where Cobra gets that scientist to figure out how they can control animals. I think that is Junkyard with the glowing eyes in the back there. And I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice, but when you see the box close up, he does kind of have Rottweiler colors. There's a little bit of brown sort of in the mouth and then sort of in the legs. So I would say 90% sure that we've got a Junkyard dog spotting in the back of the packaging for the Cobra Valkyries, which is interesting because on Hasbro Pulse, the Cobra Valkyries, the action shots are done in the snow that they've used for Snow Job and for the Snow Serpents and for the Arctic Bats. So interesting, how they're kind of tying some of the stories together through the packaging, through the marketing pictures, things like that. Anyway, I just had a great idea for a video. I think I want to do a video of sort of looking from package to the the commercial photos that they put on Pulse and so on and so forth, and see how much interconnectivity there is, how much storytelling they're telling, because we don't have an animated series, and at the moment we don't have a comic book. So curious to see what they're doing with what they've got available to them. But anyways, Cobra Valkyries. We get the 3D renders on the front there. We get the art on the front. We get up in the corner the full sort of loadout, which we've seen with all these boxes, these newish boxes with the black on them. On this side, as we've seen, we get the QR code as well as, in this case, 8 specialties. Typically they have 4, but this one actually has 8, which is interesting. I guess there's 2 figures, so I guess they're suggesting that they have different specialties, different attributes for the 2 of them. But there is the art expanded a little bit more on the other side, number 68, if you're keeping track. Then on the back, we get the full loadout for the 2 figures. So we get the officer. I'm going by this, right? We're Cobra Valkyrie officer and trooper. So I'm going officer and trooper. We say the officer comes with the tan accessories and the trooper comes with the black, which kind of makes sense. It's in line with what we've seen from the other Cobra troopers. The Cobra trooper and the Cobra infantry, I guess, same difference. They had a very similar color palette to this. That is still one of my absolute favorite figures in the line. I think they did that trooper really, really well. So I am looking forward to these. I'm looking forward to expanding my Cobra militia or army or whatever you want to call it. So we get the 2 figures, we get the backpacks, we get the weapons, and then we get a bunch of blast effects and stuff like that. This stuff doesn't really do much for me. There's like 3 or 4 of these that I like, and then the rest of them I can't be bothered. They don't look right. They're just something weird and kind of funky and hokey about them. But I'll take them if that's how if that's how I'm being sold on this 2-pack. I'll take it. I'm not complaining that I'm getting extra stuff. I'm just suggesting that there's stuff in here that it need not have, and the price could have been, $5 cheaper or whatever. Just saying, when I look at the Marvel Legends Hydra Trooper 2-pack or the Ninja 2-pack or whatever, I don't buy any of those. But when I look at those and they're a little bit cheaper per figure, I wonder if the classified series couldn't maybe go that route. But that's just a little nitpick. That's just personal preference. The figures look great. I'm very excited to get them. And the last thing that I will say, this was a Pulse exclusive, but if you're in Canada and you are a customer of eCollectibles.ca, you would have had the chance to get these from him for like basically the exact same price. And that's where I actually got mine. So because he basically made it so that if you bought the wave that came out during Yojo Tune, he ordered a whole bunch of these. He ordered a whole bunch of snow jobs, and he offered them to Canadian customers. Well, I guess any customer, but I mean, I don't know why you'd necessarily buy it from him if you were in the US and could just get Pulse shipped for virtually nothing. But I got this one from Mike at eCollectibles. He didn't make any money off these. He just basically made it so that you didn't have to order them through Hasbro Pulse. So, kudos to Mike at eCollectibles. Just a really, really cool thing that he did to help out Canadian collectors. And shout out to him because I think that kind of thing is something that you don't get everywhere. So it's worth noting. And I will say this: I order all my classified figures from eCollectibles.ca unless he can't get them. So if it's if it's one of the exclusives and I need it, I'll order it from wherever. But he is always my number one choice for my classified figures. He's my number one choice for my Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures. He's my number one choice for my Mythic Legions figures. He's my number one choice for all my figures, if I'm being perfectly honest. And from the sounds of it, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, from the sounds of it, he may be my number one choice for SH Figure Arts going forward, because he got in touch with Bandai and he may get an account opened up to him, which is there's not a lot of Canadian Bandai accounts to the best of my knowledge. Anyways, moving on. One set of four specialties for the trooper, and the second set of fours for the officer. Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Luke. I think they're tiny, and I wish they were bigger. But yeah, I think you get one set for the trooper and one set for the officer, and I think that's the differentiation. They're sort of saying that there's two different troopers in here, and they have two different skill sets. I mean, they're the same trooper. They're just painted differently, but I guess that's hoping to create the illusion sort of thing. So that's cool. Cut through comments. I see that they're giving their Cobra Trooper and off ice packs as well now. Maybe are those the same? Are they the same packs as another figure? I don't know. I used to pay really close attention to that, and I haven't been lately. I've been slacking big time. But anyway, let's get them open. We get, of course, the two figures in the little box. We get the Foot Locker. Foot Locker is number 68. Cobra Valkyries on that side. The handle, which is, in my opinion, upside down on that side with the Cobra logo. I don't know why they couldn't make it so that this opened the way that it should. Or even from, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if that's the top and that's the front, then that writing is backwards to me. Is it just me? I mean, I guess they've matched it that way, but I don't know. Again, nitpick, because who cares? I'm going to open this. I'm going to take the accessories out. And then this is just going to get put back in the box. Really never to be seen again, probably, if I'm being honest. I keep the packaging. Like, I keep one of each of the packaging, but for what? I don't know. All right, so one package, we get all the black accessories. The other, we get all the tan accessories and blast effects. There's helmets. I'm gonna separate. I'm gonna separate blast effects out. We will look at those after we look at the accessories. Helmets, extra head, accessories. All right, let's get the figures out, and then we'll take a little bit closer look at all this stuff. I'm gonna adjust this ever so slightly so that you can see more of what I'm looking at. Let me know in the chat there. I'm curious. Did you, Luke? I know that you ordered yours. I'm curious if anybody else has theirs, or if you guys ordered them, and what your sort of thoughts are on the set. As I said, I could have done with a few fewer accessories and a few fewer dollars on the price point, because the more of these sets that they do. This is my sort of real gripe. It's not that I have anything against the blast effects as such, but every time they do these, every time they do these multi-packs of figures, they throw the blast effects in, and I just feel like we're gonna get to the point where we just have way more blast effects than we will ever need or want. Is that a fair criticism, or is that like, am I the only one thinking that? Do people like to get tons of blast effects? I don't know. Let me know. There's the art, as they all do. They kind of expand the art inside the packaging, which is kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Again, It doesn't really matter to me because at the end of the day, this is going to get packed away and never seen again. So it's cool that they do it, but I could live without it. Again, a couple bucks less. Sure. Give me the figures in brown paper bags. I'd be happy. I don't. I take everything out of the package and play with it. I'm not an inbox guy, so I'm not really. We're gonna put officer there. We're gonna put trooper on the other side. Just adjust everything ever so slightly. I'm not going to take too much time to do it, but just so that this just doesn't look super goofy. And let's switch these. Hey, Attorney in Eclipse is here. Welcome, welcome. Cutthroat Comics says, love the artwork in the sleeve package. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that it's in there, but I mean, yeah. Cutthroat Comics, 2 swap out heads would be cool if Hasbro was smart enough to make the consumer more happy. I'm not that fussed one way or the other because, we do get the extra head. So if you get a second one and we do get the extra helmet, like there's the alternate kind of officer style helmet. I don't, yeah, maybe. I mean, a couple less blast effects, but an extra head. Sure, why not? Cutthroat Comics, I love blast effects and smoking guns, in my opinion. Fair enough. Like I said, okay, let's go over blast effects. The blast effects that I do like are, the simple ones. These ones here, that just sort of show, a projectile type of thing. I didn't get all my tan accessories shifted over. I thought I was missing the magazine clip. I don't know. I always get it wrong. You guys always correct me, so whatever. The simple ones are the ones that I like. The one that just make the gun look like it's firing. I like that one. I don't know if any of these are accurate at all. And I like the smoking gun one. I agree with you, Cutthroat Comics. The smoking gun one looks really, really cool. I like this one as well. The sort of, bullet spray effect gives kind of that dynamic look if you're doing toy photography. The ones that I don't like are these like big ones that sort of pair up, like you put this one with another one and then plug that one in. And it just feels like overkill. Like it's just way too much. And I would never use this one just on its own. It just looks weird. So that one I don't like. I'll sort these into 2 piles, the ones that I like and the ones that I don't like. Those are the ones that I like. I do. Okay, so the exception to this rule, so I don't really like that one, big old one. I don't know what that is sort of meant to look like or whatever. This one is weird. I don't know if this sort of, I don't know if this represents like an effect that a certain weapon has or something like that. I don't know. That's maybe why I don't like them. I do like this one. This one feels really comic book to me. I get the sort of comic book vibe from this one personally. But that's more preference than anything else. So that one goes in the middle. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but it's kind of cool because it has sort of a comic book vibe to me. These 3, whatever. Usually when I sell figures, I'll throw stuff like this in just to get it out of my fodder bin because I'm never going to use it. I don't want to use it. I don't care for it. So Eternian Ellipse, sorry, I always say Eclipse. Eternian Ellipse is overkill on blast effects for one line, but however, sharing along other lines that don't offer blast effects, this is a good option to share across. Yeah, sure. And I will say this, You know, we get a lot with each of these like multi-packs. But if you don't buy, you know, every one of the multi-packs, then maybe this is the first time you got Blast Effects. Maybe you got Blast Effects with the Viper 3-pack, or whatever, right? Like a few are great. If you, I guess my problem is I buy too many figures, and so I have too many Blast Effects. It's yeah, I'm gonna shut up. That's not a real problem. That's just that's just a nitpick. Luke Poulin says the blast effect you said you will never use on its own. I think it works well for a shotgun blast. Okay, so this one here. Okay, yeah, I could see that. So Flint shotgun or something like that. Sure, yeah, a little bit more, or even this one, right? Like a little bit more spread out, a little less precise. Even that one, I think I suppose would probably work. Yeah, okay, all right. I'm coming around a little bit on the idea. I genuinely don't hate them. It's like like I said, give them to me in a brown paper bag and you know, shave a few dollars off the price point. That's what I want. Okay, let's take a look at the figures very quickly, because otherwise this video is going to go on for far too long. They are, to the best of my knowledge, and I was trying to kind of look at them before. To the best of my knowledge, they're brand new molds. Like this is a brand new figure, um, which is kind of a bold move to kind of do, like, you know, female figures, female troopers that are completely new. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, if I've missed something. But when I was looking at these figures before I actually had them in hand, but I was looking at these figures in relation to, you know, other figures that we've gotten, other female figures that we've gotten in the line, and I couldn't find a single piece that was shared. Um, like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it's a unique sculpt, which is, you know, I hate to say that it's a bold move, but I mean, it is what it is. So they look great. They look absolutely great. Okay, so we get backpacks with both of them. So we get a black one and a tan one. A bunch of pistols. So we get two of each, in black and in the tan. I think these are a little bit smaller than the ones that we've seen with some other figures before. I believe these are new. We get two of these. These are my favorite gun in the pack. They come with the removable magazine, black and tan. I kind of like it like that. I kind of like it without the magazine loaded. I'm gonna say magazine. It could be called the clip. It could be called something else. But whatever. I'm gonna call it a magazine. I really like it without it. I think that's a really sleek look, and I may run them like that, but that remains to be seen. Then we get, you know, two of these. Again, a very sort of classic throwback kind of look to this one for sure. I think this comes with the Snow Serpent as well, and this also comes with a removable magazine. So this feels more like a vintage weapon, and this feels more like an updated, you know, 2023 kind of weapon to me, at least. Then we get a dagger, a little dagger, and that's got a painted blade, which is a little bit shiny, a little bit sort of metallic looking. So pretty cool. On the officer side, we get a helmet. Now, this helmet is, let's find out. This is the same for the two. So we get two of the same helmet. So you just have sort of the generic trooper helmet. And then you also have the officer helmet. Now, the officer helmet has the V that we've also seen on the Cobra Trooper, the Cobra Island Trooper, as well as the helmet of the Cobra Officer. So there's, you know, echoes there, with the previous sort of Cobra troop builders. I'm gonna move these forward a little bit so they're a little bit bigger. Um, which is good. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm happy to get more troops. I'm happy to get female troops. And then we get the alternate head. So unlike the Cobra Trooper that came with the removable goggles, we just get an alternate head with the goggles. Similar kind of vibe, the red eyes with the mask. The figures themselves look more like the Cobra Trooper and the infantry than they do look like the officer. Like they're more of an updated Cobra sort of figure, which I personally quite like. Cutthroat Comics, I wish Hasbro would paint some more details on their weapons like other 6-inch military lines do. Um, yeah, the black ones I don't care as much. I'll take generic black weapons all day. I don't really mind that. These ones look a little bit odd to me. All I'll be honest, all the tan accessories look a bit odd to me, and I'm probably gonna dye them. I'm probably gonna try to do like a dark gray, so they're not quite black. So they do look different than those, but I don't know. I might experiment with them a little bit. I might try a dark green dye and see what we get with a dark green dye. And I'll do the same with the web gear. Let's take a look at the figures. So we get the what I'm calling the officer in the tan web gear. So we get, as far as web gear, we get the holster on the leg. We get, I think, yeah, this piece is a floating accessory as well. It fits nicely on there, but it's a floating piece, so you could take it off if you wanted to. We get the belt, which has another spot for another pistol. We get the shoulder web gear, which has a sheath for the knife. That was very badly done. You couldn't see what I was pointing at. And then wraps around the back. There's a few hits of black on the tan, which I appreciate for sure. The tan in general just doesn't really hit for me. I prefer the black. I think the black looks more appropriate. And I think we're still going to have hits of tan where they've sort of painted the straps, both on the wrist gauntlets and on the boots. It'll still be there if I dye the web gear a different color. Then we have the trooper. So that I'm calling that the officer, and I'm calling this one the trooper. Is that what they're calling? Is that what they're calling them too? Yeah, I think that's what they're calling them too. So in the more sort of trooper deco, to me, the simple black, not much as far as paint apps, on the web gear and stuff for this one, just in the simple black, which I'm okay with. This is going on this one, on the officer as well as the trooper. There is, a high gloss on the knee pads, the shin pads, the wrist guards, and on the gloves, whereas the boots themselves are just matte. And some of the other darker, hits are matte. So there's a nice balance there between the gloss and the matte with the paint. And they're just really good looking figures. Like, this is a well done figure. I appreciate how much detail is in it, but I also appreciate that it's not overly complicated. My only complaint, okay, I will say my complaint about this that is that they are just virtually identical apart from color. I would have liked to have seen one of them with more of a vest and one of them with just sort of the simple gear. I personally would have liked to have seen two officers in a two pack, and then, or sorry, two troopers in a two pack, and then an officer as like a standalone figure, or even a three pack. Do it in a three pack. I would have been fine with that too. But this is what we get, and so you just got to get two packs, and then you can do what you want. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, those are the figures. The heads. Looking at the head sculpts, I think, and I don't know how well it's going to translate. I think the faces are different. Like I think the head sculpt is effectively like I think they're two unique head sculpts, which I'm honestly quite surprised. I could be wrong. It could just be really good, use of paint apps. But I think they're different. I genuinely think they're different. The unmasked parts. I wish I had like a caliper and I could get really scientific and measure it. But the unmasked parts on the more Caucasian looking figure looks a little bit narrower, and it looks a little bit wider on the darker skinned figure. I could be wrong. If anybody else has these in hand, feel free to let me know what your thoughts are. But I do think that they've got two head sculpts here, which is pretty cool. And then if you count, they're not going to stand up. Yeah, maybe they will. And if you count the masked one, you get technically 3 different head sculpts for 2 figures, which is, in my opinion, pretty decent. Eternian agrees with Cutthroat. You're absolutely onto something there as far as painting some details on the weapons. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just not somewhere that I care if they really spend the money on. Well, okay, less blast effects and then detail on some of the weapons. Sure, I'd take that for sure. But do I need more, paint apps on the weapons? Not as such. Not generally. But I'm gonna get her all kitted up here, equipped, kitted up, whatever. I don't know what the proper. And I'm gonna go with the officer helmet, just to differentiate. The other one, I'll go with the normal helmet, but it doesn't fit very well. Am I not putting it on right? Yeah, that'll do. She's gonna fall over with her backpack on, probably. Probably. I'm gonna adjust this one more time. Forgive me. I think it was worth it. So I hope you'll forgive me for doing that. But for whatever reason, it doesn't look in focus. But whatever. We'll live with it. Hey, what's going on, Jeremy? Billionaire is here as well. What's going on, guys? Happy to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cutthroat Comics. How about a Jungle Trooper would be cool, or a Desert Trooper would be cool as well? Yeah, I would take those. I mean, we got the eel is effectively an underwater trooper, and we've got the snow serpent. So, I think we'll get plenty of troopers going forward. I'm not really worried about that at all. Let me get her all kitted out as well. The super boring part. I realized when I was doing the other one that I just went totally silent. Like I said, picked up a little bit of a cold for my 1-year-old, so got a little tickle in my throat. But I will survive. I've survived this long in life with minor colds and things, so I'm not. I don't think this one is going to get me. Now, I always try to decide if there's like a front or back to some of these because I just don't know. I mean, they're not keyed. They're not. There's nothing that sort of indicates that there would be a front or a back. So they just go however I decide they're going to go on. Like I said, I prefer this one. I prefer this one to the other one, and I really like it like that. But I mean, it looks a little more. It looks a little more realistic like this. I know it's not a realistic weapon, but it looks a little more realistic like this. To me, it looks a little more GI Joe, or a little more sci-fi, maybe a little more Star Wars, even like this. Um, it ain't straight, by the way. If anybody was wondering, the other one was surprisingly, but this one is not straight. We're gonna go with the other helmet for her. The helmet that I think I prefer this helmet. The other one is a little too flared out for me, but that's personal preference. You know, rock whatever helmet you like on whatever figure you got because they're yours. You can do whatever you want with them. Like I said, I got two of these 2-packs, so I'm probably gonna mix it up and have different ones wear different stuff anyway. But let's get this in your hand. Thank you. Get her a little bit different pose. She's not super boring in vanilla. Still super boring in vanilla, but okay, one last tweak. There we go. And there they are. I mean, that's the 2-pack. I think they're great figures. I think they're what I expected. They're what I hoped they would be. They're brand new molds. I again, like I said, my nitpick is that I would have liked to have um different gear for the two of them other than just a straight repaint from one to the other. But all things being equal, I think we'll probably see this buck again. So I think we'll probably see this figure with more gear, and then I can just come back after the fact and swap it between a couple other figures. So it's Chad is here. What's going on? Just popping in to say, hey, I have no flavor for that stuff, but support is support. Hey, I appreciate it, man. It ain't 1/18th, but it's what I'm into. So yeah, I appreciate that, man. Cutthroat Comics, is everybody excited about the 2-pack Steel Core Troopers? They're coming out in November. I am. I really am. I, I like those figures a lot. I think they look really good. And there's there's something about the Steel Core Trooper that I like. I never had a vintage. I never had a vintage one. I'm in Canada. The mail away stuff. I thought the mail away stuff. My parents probably lied to me, or they just didn't take me seriously. I never got any mail away stuff. I didn't know that was like something that you could get in Canada. I now know that you could, and that I could have and just didn't. But it is what it is. I'm excited to get them for sure. I like the jump packs, and the loadouts that they've got with those figures looks pretty cool. And I like that they did a male and a female in the 2-pack. So I'm definitely going to be picking those up. Cutthroat Comics, I would also get some cool weapons from Gridiron Studios to finish off these female Cobra figures. Fair enough. The Gridiron stuff looks fantastic. It's not my jam. I've said this before. I got nothing against the Gridiron guys. They make great product, and I have lots of friends that have equipped their figures with Gridiron Studio stuff. I just can't justify, weapons that cost as much as the action figures themselves. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. Eternian Ellipse, I love them. Very cool, sir. Yeah, they're great figures. I'm excited about them. Now, just as a very quick comparison, for the sake of comparison, because I know that people enjoy comparisons on these, I've got a Baroness. So Baroness is obviously a little bit taller. A completely different figure. Like I said, I thought maybe they would use some of the Baroness parts, but there's nothing from Baroness on this figure here. And then I've also got a Cobra Trooper. Again, much taller. But I like that they've got sort of a similar color palette and sort of deco going on. Apart from this having more gloss, and just looking over my shoulder at the infantry, the infantry doesn't have the gloss either, but I like that it kind of echoes Baroness. So there, it's sort of, I see a bit of a tie in there personally. And again, like I said, the sort of callback with the V on the arm there. So anyway, that's the Valkyries 2-pack. I mean, if you're into the line, I would strongly recommend this 2-pack. I think it's a good little army builder 2-pack. I think what you get for the money is decent value. It's not great value. I'm not going to say that it's fantastic and you should buy it just because of the price point. But it is what it is. 2 female figures and a bunch of accessories, whether you like blast effects or not. I mean, you get plenty of weapons and plenty of stuff in there. So I think the value proposition is there. Chad said Steel Brigade will always be the GOAT, whatever they're called. Yeah, Steel Brigade, Steel Battalion, Steel Corps, Iron Corps, whatever, Hardcore. They could just call them Hardcore Troopers, and I would have bought them anyway. It would have been a terrible name, and I would have resented them for not coming up with something better. But yeah, it's arose by any other name, right? And Cutthroat Comics agrees. Yeah, so true, so true. The only Steel Brigade I have, I got 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, and I was just really excited to get one. I did get the Action Force ones in the meantime, and I still have them. They're sort of mixed in with my classified stuff, but I'm very much looking forward to the Hasbro Steel Core 2-pack, which is listed as November, but I'm pretty sure that like these were listed for November as well, or somewhere around there. So I suspect we might have them sooner rather than later. But yeah, there you have it. The GI Joe classified Cobra Valkyries 2-pack, the officer and the trooper. Go out and get some toys. Go buy some toys. If you're in Canada, hit up eCollectibles.ca. I don't know if he's gonna have any more of these left. As I said, they were kind of like an added bonus to anybody that bought the wave that sort of came out at the same time. But otherwise, they are still available from Hasbro Pulse. So Chad says Hasbro and value aren't really words that go together, but it is what it is. Yeah, I agree. I mean, corporate America, what can you do, right? I still want their toys. I just wish I didn't. The classified stuff is pretty much the only Hasbro stuff that I buy. I buy the odd Black Series figure for specific characters, but yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. I'd much rather army build AWOC stuff at this point. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom troops are more fun. They're more fun to play with. So I'm getting 2 of these 2-packs just to get more female figures. but I was doing, you know, 4, 5, not 5. I've never gotten 5 of anything. That would be a weird number of troops for me. But I was getting 4 or 6 or 8 of the troopers for the first couple waves, and then the prices went up, and I was like, nah, that ain't happening anymore. But yeah, go get some Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures. That's what you should be army building. That's what I'm army building currently. Chad says, right on. Glad you like them. Have a rad night, all. And I will echo that sentiment. Have a rad night, all. On that note, we're going to tie it up. Unless anybody has any quick questions. You got a quick question, fire it in the chat there. And I'm happy to answer it or whatever. But, you know, 2 figures are unboxed, and my throat's getting scratchy. So I am going to call it an evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for joining me. You know, as I always say, it's always more fun to open toys with friends. You know, there's so much good content. There are so many great videos out there, and so I'm so appreciative of you guys for hanging out, and I'm so appreciative of anybody that's watching in the replay as well. You guys are what make this fun for me. So thank you all, and see you again very, very soon, I hope. Bye-bye.